Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Thought I'd come out here outside and do a video. I haven't done a video out on the porch in a while, and I got guests coming tomorrow, a family, so I probably won't be able to get out here for a few days. So anyhow, I wanted to talk today about doing this raw vegan lifestyle in different climates. And let me preface by saying this is just the opinion of me. Basically, you know, every time you talk about raw vegan or raw vegan versus cooked, you know, people, I don't know, they get all dogmatic and they get caught up in this like it's religion or something. Listen, even if somebody disagrees with how you believe, you see fit doing this lifestyle, think about this a little bit. People come off a little too cray-cray looking when they're arguing over minute details with people. So like I say, whether you're fully raw or not is never like a huge concern of mine, but I do offer tricks on how to get there and just try to offer as much as I can on to being happy and healthy doing this lifestyle. Now, what I'll start off by saying is some of the same advice I've talked before, like if you have any help, when you have health issues or, you know, you have a certain type of amount of weight to lose, you know, don't just randomly go to somebody you see doing YouTube videos or even somebody you see or you think that may be knowledgeable on social media or wherever, me included. Go to people that are in your circumstances. That is always the best place to start. You know, I've talked about it before when you're talking about health issues. If you got Lyme disease and you want to know about some results that you can get from this lifestyle, as it relates to Lyme disease, talk to somebody that's had good results. The same with autoimmune disorders, the same with thyroid, the same with whatever, gut issues. And I would say the same thing about the climate. If you're struggling on this lifestyle and you're trying to be raw vegan, if raw vegan is just your ultimate goal, you can't let that go. Well, then you need, and you're in climates, because obviously climate doesn't play a part unless it's cold. I mean, if you're just not, you know, if you're in a warm climate, you're just choosing not to do it. So I'm talking about people that are in cold climates. You look to people. I have a lot of Canadians that watch and comment on my videos. Very nice. I like my Canadian friends. But if you got any issues about this lifestyle as it relates to living in a cold place, you got to find people in Canada that are doing that lifestyle. Same with UK. You know, I don't live in the UK. To be quite honest, I mean, imagining doing a fully raw lifestyle in the UK is very foreign to me. I would need to go over there and have somebody that's doing that lifestyle. I'd have to watch them myself to see how they're doing it with what they have available. But that's always the place to start. If it's important to you to be fully raw year round throughout the winter, then you got to find people in your circumstances and emulate them. You know, copying people is not always a bad thing, depending on what you're doing. You don't want to copy people's work and pass it off as your own, but in general, copying people is the best. Mimicking is the best way we learn things. It's straight to the point. Now, me personally, I don't think if I was if somehow my circumstances took me to somewhere very cold during the cold part of the year, I would have to see. I would really have to see what was available. It would depend on how my money was. Could I go to Whole Foods if that was available? Could I pay a little bit more? Am I in the circumstances I am now with just, you know, money to live on, money to eat, but not a lot of extra? You know, I can't say, but I will tell you this. I kind of think that, no, I probably would not work that hard to be fully raw vegan. And I'll tell you why, because this lifestyle, one of the biggest things I've enjoyed since coming to this lifestyle is just the flow, is just of how it's effortless where I am. And that's what I've come to, and this is all I've known. I came to this raw vegan lifestyle living in Costa Rica. June will be 5 years, and I was here. So I've known nothing else other than traveling a little bit, except doing a raw vegan lifestyle here in the tropics where I have fruit, abundant fruit, and I'm able to get it all the time. So it's hard for me to extrapolate into other places where I haven't been. And that's why I'm never definitely going to judge people that aren't eating that fully raw thing, you know, that are sitting in other places. And okay, kind of got long explanation there. I like this lifestyle because it's effortless. I don't have to use any will. If I just got to think, if I moved to Canada for some reason, if there was some opportunity, if I moved to Europe, if I was somewhere during the winter that it was going to be really cold, I just have to think, for me, it would become a lifestyle of will. I could do it. I could do it. Don't get me wrong. And nobody needs to tell me your little personal story. Everybody is always like that little kid in school, likes to tell, kind of show what they can do. I know there's people all over the world doing a fully raw lifestyle. We all think differently. We're all individual beings. I would never be all that interested in doing this lifestyle as a lifestyle of willpower, which I could do. I'll do. Hey, and you know what? If anybody doubts me, put your money where your mouth is. I'll come wherever you are, any time of the year you want, as long as I ain't got to pay to get there. I'll put up the money. I'll come do it. I'll have money to show you, but we'll have to make a bet. You'll have to make it worth it. But I can come and do it anywhere in the world. Would I want to? Would I enjoy it? Would I thrive on it? Probably not, because this is just what I've come to know. I live a real laid-back lifestyle. The work, it would be even more work. I'd have to do some of the things I hear people scrambling around and rushing around and doing all the time. And quite honestly, I got other things I'd rather do. Already, doing a channel and doing stuff to try to share, I spend a lot of my time about food, thinking about food, talking about food, writing about food, doing videos about food. The few hours of the day that remain, I don't want to take them up with food. I don't want to be having to shop constantly. I don't want to have to be doing little this, and this to prepare. But that's just me. If you want to, more power to you. And it can be done. I don't know. I just kind of sometimes think like that. It's just very tough when people are obsessed with fully raw in places where it's just really hard to be fully raw. I think probably what would be closer to what I would try to do is some of even the tips that I talk about in transition, and the tips that I talked about a couple of days ago in a video about mixing your raw with your cooked and just having some cooked in there for the psychological. I think for me, in a cold climate, it wouldn't be so much eating some cooked with my salads or whatever for the psychological of the warmth. It would probably be a matter of me needing to catch up with some calories if I didn't have the high amounts of fruit that I was eating. Because, I go eat a ton of fruit down here. As I mentioned, I probably 70-75% of my calories come from fruit. So if all of a sudden, I had nothing but bananas, or I didn't even have great bananas, it would be hard to do that. And that's probably what my lifestyle in that climate would look like. It would probably look like, the warm time of the year, the summertime, wherever I was. And I probably wouldn't move to some place that even in the summertime, that was so remote that in the summertime you couldn't get fruit. So probably in the warmer months, I would adjust and I would be fully raw. I would try to adjust some and kind of plan ahead a bit going into the cooler months, maybe freezing some fruit, maybe storing some stuff, just some preparations like that. And then as it got colder, I'd probably gradually ease into, having a little bit of cooked food with my meals. I'd probably do just what I was talking about. I'd have a big salad in the evening, 2 or 3 sweet potatoes on it to get that, get those calories and whatever. But, yeah, I just see so much mental angst from people that are trying. It's kind of like a fish out of water. Let's be real. And I'm just throwing back the logic that I've heard from a lot of the hardcore raw foodists out there that say this is our natural diet. The rawest law people will fight you to the death and say this is our natural diet. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to get lawyerly on you here. I told you guys I was supposed to be a lawyer in another life. Okay. Fine and dandy. This is the diet that man was designed to eat. This was the diet. Well, when that design happened, however you want to think of it, man was living at the equator. Man was living close to the equator. Man was living at the tropics. That was not his natural state as man evolved out. Now, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not one of those. I'm not. And listen, if anybody that's not even into this lifestyle, I'm not going to debate you but that's why people ate differently as they moved away. Now, I'm not going to go so far. I will tell you this. I'm going to stay vegan wherever I go because I can do that. I do that for the animals. I do that for the planet. And yes, I do it for my health, but vegan is locked in. I'm going to do vegan. So that's not even anything I'm discussing right there. But Yeah, I would totally probably do it like that. Is adding those sweet potatoes in, maybe adding some beans in, and it would be a very precise plan. It wouldn't be willy-nilly, just like I decided to throw it all in there and go and eat, just eat whatever because now I'm eating cooked. And I think that's what a lot of people do. And let's go back to all about the health. Just because you eat cooked doesn't mean you have to go all in and eat all cooked all the time. You can you can do kind of what I'm talking about. It's just that too many people, and maybe that's why a lot of people have to do their raw as law thing. Maybe it's like an addiction. Maybe some people can't go back and forth, or maybe once some people eat that cooked food, it's just like something that spins them out of control, and they can't quite control how much of the cooked food they're eating. But that's a shame because, I mean, like I say, food we should use as a tool. We shouldn't be necessarily limited that we can't, that we just can't eat cooked food simply because we're addicted and we might spin out of control. In the end, like my message always is, this is just giving people options. Totally admire people that are fully raw. I'm totally admire people that are fully raw in places that I wouldn't be fully raw. We don't have to all be the same, people. We don't all have to agree on everything. That'd be a pretty boring ass world if we all just kind of lined up and had the same ideas. What would we talk about? What would we discuss? We'd just be little yes men and women for each other going, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I get more honestly, in my whole life, I think of interesting people I've met, friends of mine, people I've known, and I've always found, I won't say the people are more interesting, but I've always found conversations are actually more interesting with people that are different than me. I'm not necessarily talking about like 180 degrees different, where you're constantly arguing, debating, and fighting over issues, and you're diametrically opposed philosophically to each other. But I think our differences make us who we are, and I think that's the world. 7 billion of us on this rock, and we're not going to do things the same way. So you do it your way, I'll do it mine. But that's just my 2 cents worth. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and come back and watch more. I do videos every day. When you hit that button, check on the bell and click on the bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. And I hope you guys are having a great week. Love you lots. Peace.